Andreas, so good to see you again, my friend. How are you?
Good. Same here, man. Thank you very much.
Not a problem at all, mate. Coming back to Australia, that's, bit of a highlight on the world tour schedule, you'd have to admit.
Great. We're doing this since 2022, and the response and the reaction has been amazing. I think last time we were in Australia was with that Angel, and it was great. Uh, Great few shows that we did together, and now we're finally doing the festival. Something that we're expecting for a long time. To do the festival in Australia, and with such a diverse lineup. It's amazing. It's an amazing festival. We're very happy to be a part of it. It's going to be great.
When you see something Australian, what's the first thought of Australia that pops into your head?
AC/DC.
Great answer.
Rock and roll, man. I mean, of course, I mean, AC/DC, I think, is the first, connection with music, I guess. The first strong, and still today one of the biggest bands in the world. It's amazing the trajectory, the story, and how much AC/DC could go through so many different generations and have the same impact, with all of us, with my son, and
Yeah.
eventually with my grandson, hopefully. So I don't have a grandson yet, so
No pressure, just,
but
just putting pressure on the son. Jeez. Speaking of the family, I hope they're well, my friend. Do they ever get used to you touring the world and then coming home, or even as such having a dad and another half that is in one of the biggest metal bands in the world?
I met my wife in 1990.
Mm.
Our first international tour was in 1989 when we went to Europe with Sodom on the Beneath the Remains tour. So and I built a relationship like that, and the family traveling. We lived in Brazil, and then we moved to the United States. We stayed 10 years there. Of course, I miss like important dates, birthdays and Father's Day, and New Year's Eve. Sometimes, of course, it happens because of this is what I do.
Yeah.
But what is really a proper family? Let's say, I have friends that have families that live under the same roof, and they don't know each other. They not unite, they don't respect each other, and I don't think the proximity or living together is not the main factor, to be a family. I love my kids, they love me. We went through a very difficult times. My wife passed away a year and a half ago, and I mean, we are more united than ever. And I still touring, and I still doing what I do, and it is what it is. It's something that, if you accept uh, a style, or what you are, there's no conflict. The conflict is where you try to compare with your neighbor or your friend's family and stuff, and try to make parallel to that, and think this is like a reference or something. I mean,
Yeah.
that's so much. Especially nowadays, I mean, there's families at every characteristic, and it's great, because it is what it is. There's no rule, actually. It's like only respect, and living together, it demands a lot of respect, a lot of learning. You learn about yourself a lot and stuff. So, and we talked a lot. I mean, technology really helped. I remember on the first tour, I called my mom every 15 days, collect from a payphone on the street, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Was fine. Today we speak every day, every moment. What you eat, you're home, you're not. WhatsApp and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But it's good that you have this connection, because we are far away, and it's great to that we have able, to talk every day, so it's fine.
When it comes to the loss, and my condolences on your wife passing away, when you go through such a traumatic experience, do you find that it's almost like a blessing that you can express yourself by picking up a guitar and just letting it flow through that?
Oh, most definitely. I think art in general, it's a great way to deal with your feelings or to express your feelings without words, uh, instrumental music and painting and whatever, even writing, of course. But it's something that it's part of our life. I think the experience I had with my wife and the way it happened with cancer, and going out to the very last days and learning a lot, actually, how the hospital works and what the possibilities are in Brazil, and why we don't talk about euthanasia and all that stuff, why we don't talk about dying, because people has a prejudice about that. They're scared to talk about dying. They're scared to talk about suicide, assisted suicide and euthanasia and all that stuff. The case of my wife was a classic case of euthanasia, but it's illegal in Brazil. So but nobody talks about. I mean, we need a discussion. And after her passing, I started to move forward, to talk about my experience and try to stimulate people to talk about dying, because my wife talked about dying ever since I met her. It was very easy for her. She was very outspoken. She didn't care with who she was talking. She was just expressing herself, including talking about dying. And she always was saying, when I die, I don't want to go to the coffin without my blanket or my pillow. Please don't let me be cold or something. I want to be warm and stuff. And we all laughed about. But when it happened, I mean, we were so prepared, because she talked about that with the family and friends, with anyone. She was very, like I said, very outspoken and stuff, and very truthful. So I realized that it helped a lot when you talk about that with your friends, with your family, in a daily basis. So when it happens, you are a lot more prepared to fulfill that desire or their wish. And there's no price when you fulfill a wish of the people and the person you love the most of your life. It's fantastic. And then I start this movement, that I wanted to stimulate people to talk about dying, to talk about euthanasia, to talk about will, to talk about inventory and all that stuff that happens, and people are not prepared for that, because they are avoid the subject, because they are scared of it. And dying, I mean, death in general is our best teacher. I'm learning so much about life through dying, because every day it's a very special day. It's a very present day. Everything it's more intense. I think I wanted to make people understand that's the way to be more peaceful. Accept the finitude, accept the end. That eternal life is no sense. you know that kind of stuff, the artificial intelligence and eternal life and all that stuff, that's bullshit. I mean, we are what we are. We cannot discuss that. We're gonna die. We all gonna die. So let's face that and learn how to live better. I
Yeah.
mean, it's happening with me and with my family and my friends and with the band and stuff. I quit alcohol. I'm a much better person. And I met people through this movement of speaking about dying that are amazing. And I promoted 2 years now a music festival, to raise funds for people who takes palliative care to the slums in Rio and in other parts of Brazil,
Mm.
because people there are just forgotten by society. They don't have access to healthcare, to anything. So we already did 2 years with a lot of the musicians that we know here in Brazil, and it's great. I mean, we're starting a movement here that I hope make people realize that we need to talk about dying, so we can prepare better for that moment that it's going to happen to all of us.
I'm not bullshitting. Have you thought about doing a spoken word circuit? I mean, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be. I'm just saying we see you on stage just giving it. And then you're such a beautiful soul. When when you have a look at the differences when you get taken out of your comfort zone. I was talking to Derek a couple of years ago, and I asked him the difference between the American scene and then what he had to adjust to when he went to the Brazilian scene.
Definitely, I think the American scene, there's more music going on. There's more shows. South America, they missed a lot of that because they had a dictator. And so there were a lot of bands that weren't able to play there. So they weren't able to see live concerts, and they didn't have accessibility to certain albums, but they became epic albums in the eyes of the people there because they appreciated when they did get to hear it, and they'd latch onto it as their piece of, that rock and roll culture. And so once Rock and Rio hit there, then everything just blew up.
For you, what's the biggest difference from going to basically having someone that comes from a different area of the world, a different upbringing, a different metal culture, and then having them as your front man?
True, yeah. I mean, when Max left the band, we took a year to start looking for a new singer.
Oh, really?
Because we wanted to try, we wanted to try to be as a trio. I mean, everything came into our mind during those days. It was a very difficult time for us. We were at the peak of Roots, and Max left with our manager, basically with our label, because we had to rebuild everything, not only find a new singer, but rebuild management, rebuild our relationship with Roadrunner, and, find new producers to do the album. Because Max took everything that we built, Ross Robinson, Andy Wallace, and Indigo Ranch Studio. I mean, everything that we used for Roots, Max used for the first album. And we had to start from scratch, basically, And so we need time. We needed our time, really, to make sure the steps were the right ones, So we took our time. We stayed as a trio for a while. I even did vocal lessons, because I was supposed to be the singer and stuff.
Yeah.
And to make that attempt, the first attempt to try to continue as a trio, Yeah. So Against was born out of it, because most of the Against album, not most, but I mean more than half of the structure was written as a trio. We didn't play anything old. We were just playing new stuff. We wanted to challenge ourselves and stuff, And after, I don't know, 10 to 11 months, we decided to find somebody else because we felt that wasn't working. I didn't want it to be a singer. I didn't want it to split, to take away from the guitar to be a singer. I did some stuff in Sepultura before as a improvisation, when Max was ill or whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
But and then we tried some Brazilian guys. We tried people from all over the world, actually, and we didn't care. And we didn't want to force ourselves to have a Brazilian in the band. I mean, it was no sense to do something like that, just because we were from Brazil. And we opened our possibilities because we wanted to find somebody that really could be, something special for us. And
Nailed it.
Derek is with us for more than 25 years already.
Yeah.
I guess was the right choice.
We do have to wrap things up very quick. I know that on top of doing good things, you are going to be doing these breakout shows in Brisbane, Melbourne, Adelaide, and Fremantle. Those dates are on the screen right now. One of the things, though, is if you're going to go to Fremantle, are you going to go and visit the Bon Scott statue that's in Fremantle?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's one of my dreams, to go there. I visited already Stevie Ray Vaughan, in Austin, Texas, which was, was something, a checklist, Mark. And for sure, man, I'm happy that I have this opportunity now. It's been amazing.
Andreas Kisser, Sepultura, what an absolute pleasure again to get your time, my friend.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your words, your kind words. I really want to do something about that and express my experience, and hopefully I'll prepare something, to talk about. And thank you very much.